Hey, welcome. If you're new here, we're Keith and Dev, and we've been capturing our adventures around the world for the past 3 years. One place we went to recently was the Philippines, and we loved it. We were there for a month, and we explored one general region, but there are like so many places to see in the Philippines. So here are the 10 takeaways.
Yeah, and things that you should know before you go because, again, it can be overwhelming, especially planning a trip to the Philippines. So we are here to help you out.
Subscribe to follow along.
The first takeaway is things to do before you go.
So the first thing you want to do before you go is get travel medical insurance. Now this isn't just a plug for what we use, but it is important to get that because I've been sick while traveling and extra costs and all that stuff is not fun.
We do use Safe Doing, which we love. You pay on a monthly basis and it is very affordable.
You can like cover whether you're doing activities or sports, or you can even add if you get stuff stolen as well. But yeah, it's got quite the range. That's what we use. It does support our channel if you do use a Safe Doing.
The next thing we want to talk about is actually getting an eSIM with specifically Holofly. Again, we do use Holofly and we love it, but it's really important, we think, to have a SIM card. When you arrive, an eSIM means it's on your phone. You don't need to worry about that little plastic thing, and you will have connection everywhere you go in the Philippines.
So we have, when we traveled, the regional packages for our trip in Southeast Asia recently. We had just arrived from Singapore, and we have this Holofly regional Southeast Asia package on our phone. So we literally turned off airplane mode from the plane, and we were connected right away.
So that is super helpful. And then the last thing that you're probably wondering is whether you need a visa or not for the Philippines. In most countries, you actually get a free 30-day visa. The only thing that they ask is that your passport does not expire for 6 months after you've been traveling to the country, as well as they will ask you for your departure flight. So make sure you book your departure flight before you go to the Philippines, just because they're gonna ask you that when you land.
Yeah, we use the full 30 days pretty much for our visa completely.
Yeah, we always leave a day before the visa runs out, just in case we run into any issues, like if our flight's delayed,
Canceled
that
or something.
kind of thing.
Yeah, so I guess we spent 29 days there, but pretty much the whole thing. The second thing, that was all one category of things to know before you get to the Philippines. Second thing is that the Philippines is actually an archipelago of over 7,000 islands. It is big and islandy.
And they are spread out. These islands are spread out.
So kind of know where you're gonna head
ahead of time.
And choose a region.
Our big tip, yes, is choose a region. We spoke to a lot of people that want to hit all the big places that people know about the Philippines. But the issue is, if you're trying to get to every single place, you're gonna spend as much time in like transit, traveling, than you are actually visiting these places.
Yeah, you're gonna have to kill because it is slow to get around. So you'll use 2 or 3 days to travel to your destination.
Whether you're taking ferries or you're taking planes, which then the costs add up if you're taking airplanes to get between places. And even if the flight's only an hour or 2, you still have to be at the airport early. It does eat up your time.
Yeah, it'll take a full day minimum.
So all that to say is, in these smaller regions, or if you pick your region, there's still so much to do in one specific region, and you're gonna have a great time. And we personally think you'll enjoy yourself more the less transiting you're doing. You're still gonna have to do some transit because they're all islands.
We stuck with the Visayas area, which is Cebu, Bohol, Siquijor, and Negros Island area. People definitely go to Palawan, El Nido, and Siargao. Those places we hear...
And Boracay as well.
And Boracay. Those places are the places that everyone goes to, but we decided to...
Maybe do it's still touristy, but a little bit less touristy spots.
To cut those things out and just focus on experiencing really like the authentic Visayas area.
It doesn't mean we don't want to go to those places one day. We would love to go back to the Philippines and see more one day, but we stuck to this one area and we honestly, truly loved it. We were able to take ferries between all the places and
rent scooters, take our time. We really enjoyed it.
The next category is still kind of on the transportation thing, because we talked a little bit about that there, is book your transportation in advance. So more specifically, if you're traveling between islands, if you know you need to fly, at least try and book it 1 to 2 months. I would even recommend 2 months in advance, because the closer you get to when you are flying, they make the flights more expensive because they know people need to fly.
Flights change, they're a little looser with the timing, and so you need to have some buffer. Taking flights or ferries, things can get delayed easily in the Philippines.
Yeah, so for example, if you're on a remote island and you're gonna be flying out of Manila, maybe give yourself a day or two in Manila before you fly back to Canada, let's say, in case that flight to Manila or that boat to Manila gets canceled or delayed. The other thing is, even with ferries, there's certain like little boats where people are like, oh yeah, you can just go hop on. But if you're going between two very popular areas, you are gonna wanna book your ferry in advance. Some ferries you can book online. We'll have the websites below that you can use. Some of them you do have to go in person. The ferry we wanted to take, I think we were still like 2 or 3 days early, was already booked. So luckily there was 2 ferries a day.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to take the other ferry. But so sometimes you do need to book it, I would say like 3 days in advance.
Book your transportation ahead of time and plan around that.
So those are like big travels within the country. Our next category is local travel. So the best way to get around a specific island or a specific city you are in.
So for example, we were in Cebu, in the city of Cebu, and we were able to take Grab taxis, correct? So that's the Uber equivalent of Southeast Asia. Really convenient, use your credit card, you can get around no problem. Now outside of the big cities like Cebu, you can't order a Grab. So you have to ask around, maybe ask your accommodation for a drive somewhere, a transfer, then you pay cash.
And going off what he said, I would recommend asking your accommodation for their recommended driver or tuk-tuk driver, and also ask them how much the cost is, because we do find the costs can range being a tourist, and so if you're going through your accommodation,
they'll give you a good price.
The proper price. The other thing that we would also recommend is if you're on smaller islands. For example, we did this on 2 different islands, in Siquijor and then in a smaller part of Bohol, is renting a scooter. This makes you have so much more freedom and you can see the island in such a different way. We personally like to do it on the quieter islands because we don't really like driving scooters around when it's really busy.
Yeah, so we actually rented a scooter on Siquijor, which is smaller, easy to get around, and like, you know, less busy and stuff. We felt more comfortable driving. Really beautiful, honestly, to scoot around Siquijor. And then also on the back part of Bohol. Bohol can be busy in the city area, but in the area that we were in Anda, it was kind of like quieter and not as busy. So I felt comfortable driving the scooter. That being said, they never checked for international driver's permit paperwork, which some countries definitely check. And so we didn't feel stressed out about renting a scooter, even though I don't have my international driver's license for the Philippines.
Which is something we are gonna look into getting though, because we realized a lot of countries,
yeah,
you do use that.
They're a little looser there.
Yeah, and that being said, like in Anda specifically, why we wanted to rent a scooter is there was a lot of really natural beauty in that area that would have been hard to get to with public transit. So we were able to take our scooter and see these beautiful waterfalls and hills, and it was really lovely.
At the end of the day, really, there's less buses than say in Sri Lanka, and so renting a scooter for those smaller towns is more convenient. It's easy because they rent them out to anyone, and also quite affordable.
That being said, we did take a few local buses, which did work out in the end. They were warm and they took a lot longer than if you're taking private transfers, but
Definitely
we were
hot.
able to take some.
Yeah. Also, the scooters per day, we're looking at $10 Canadian per day.
To rent a scooter, like
it's
amazing. And always ask for a helmet because they will provide you with one.
The next thing, I mentioned this briefly, is that cash is important. The cash we use for paying drivers sometimes, like we said, when we couldn't order Grabs, but also certain restaurants. So cash is actually weirdly king in the Philippines. Like you're talking going to a nice Western style restaurant in a touristy place, and then they don't take card.
No, only cash only. And again, it might be starting to change in certain places, but it has not changed yet.
It was kind of surprising. So
how much cash you needed to have.
We had to take a lot of cash out, to be honest.
Well, we always try to go and we have to take cash out of an ATM to an actual bank that's open. So if something goes wrong, the people in the bank can help us out.
During bank hours.
Yes, during bank hours, exactly. And that just, I think for our own peace of mind helps out. And again, always try and do it when you're in the bigger cities because smaller towns won't even have ATMs or banks. So
yeah, so that's the thing. You need cash, but then there's no ATM around, right? So yeah, plan ahead, have cash.
So the next section is that English is widely spoken. We did not realize this until we arrived in the Philippines, but English is actually an official language of the Philippines.
So we were able to ask questions and get around.
Yeah, that meant signs were in English as well. Again, most people, if not all people, spoke English. People were super kind and friendly and willing to help with directions or even food accommodations with me trying to figure out what gluten-free means, because some people don't know what gluten-free means. It was just...
No, it was easy to travel to. It was safe, it was comfortable, and people were really, really, really kind.
And
Filipinos
really friendly.
have a big heart, they're welcoming, and they're fun. Yeah.
So definitely, obviously we'd recommend the Philippines because that's what this video is about.
Yeah, exactly.
Our next category is that the Philippines, if you want it to be, can be super budget friendly.
It could also be super luxurious. I mean, you know, you've seen pictures of maybe people staying in Palawan villas and stuff like that, or tucked away in a secret private island in the Philippines. You can definitely have the whole range. Backpacker bunk beds to capsule hotels, we stayed in a capsule hotel, to fancy villas.
By yourself. That are thousands of dollars a night.
Yeah.
It is up to you the vacation that you want to have. Now, that being said, we're gonna go in a bit of things that we spent money on, our costs. So for example, like accommodations, our average night would be $30 to $40 Canadian a night. So our biggest criteria was a budget, but there was air conditioning, a private room, and
usually a private bathroom.
Yeah, and we would say we were kind of in probably the upper budget range, meaning we wanted it to be a nice space. We wanted it to be near things so we could either walk to things or walk to food.
Walking's important for us, yeah, obviously.
That kind of thing. But again, like he said, there definitely are hostels that are a lot cheaper than that, or there's a lot nicer accommodations that would be a lot more.
We generally stuck to the mid-range budget.
Number 8 is something I am very excited about, and that is that there are free water refills at restaurants, and that we'd recommend bringing a water bottle with you when you travel. And that is because recently, in the last few years, the Philippines has really stepped it up in terms of their environmental sustainability and wanting to protect their waters and less plastic and all that kind of stuff.
We were surprised how little pollution there was, to be honest, so they've really cracked down.
The land, yeah.
This is a side note, but this is an important thing. Something called environmental fees when you land in different parks or different islands, different beaches. You'll be like, what's that? You got to pay a couple dollars every time you do something. Yes, but it seems to be working. It seems to be going towards.
We believe the money goes towards cleaning up the waterways and the beaches,
and to make sure that the money is put in the right place. So environmental fees are real, and just have some cash for those when you're traveling around.
So going back to the water thing, what this means, free water refills, is if you are at a restaurant, the restaurant, like in Canada, is obliged to give you a glass of clean drinking water.
So that was really nice. So house water, or you can say, or table water, so you don't have to pay.
Or yeah.
In Indonesia, we had to pay $7 Canadian for a bottle of water.
Yeah, and also just it's less plastic. They'll give it to you in like a glass versus a plastic water bottle. So that's very exciting, and you could save. First of all, you could save some money, but most importantly, you could save plastic water bottles. So please make sure it's safe water. We drank it the whole time we were there. Do that when you're at restaurants.
Yeah, but overall, the Philippines, though, surprised with how sort of sustainable they are becoming in terms of that kind of thing.
It was really awesome. And going off of that, our next thing is, at least the area we visited in the Philippines was world-class snorkeling.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I want to say 2 things. The first thing is that it doesn't have to be on a day tour or a boat tour. The places we went, you could snorkel right off the beach and see incredible underwater life.
So in Malbo, Cebu, they're known for the sardine run, which was just off the beach, and it was incredible. And we're talking sea turtles as well swimming with us. And then the other place we went to that was just off the beach is Siquijor. Yeah. So environmental fee to pay for the beach maybe, and then you're off the beach, amazing coral.
Like swim, and then next thing you know.
Amazing fish, like diverse tropical fish, and it's just stunning, and it was just free. Well, we rented a mask, and that's it.
And that's it. The other thing, we did do a boat tour though, because we wanted to go check out another island, so you needed to take a boat to get there, and it was a day trip to a place called Apo Island, which also had amazing snorkeling where we saw a lot of turtles and some wildlife.
Yeah, some coral.
And the other thing is also there is like that tour in Apo Island is mainly for diving. We don't have our diving certs, but if you're a diver, like the Philippines is the place to go.
It is the place. But overall, the marine life and the snorkeling in the Philippines, out of this world. Siquijor again and Malbo
would be like top highlights for snorkeling.
For sure, and just off the coast for free.
And our last category, number 10, is food. So we're going to talk a little about the cost of food, the different types of food, and maybe some recommendations.
So Filipino food is actually its own category. They actually have their own cuisine, and it's mainly meat-based. Surprisingly less fish than you'd think for a country full of islands, but really good pork. That we're talking lechon and different types of, they have tons of pork dishes, but lechon's iconic. It's really good. It's like a crispy, slow roasted rotisserie pig with a crispy skin. Excellent. But then a lot of meat dishes as well. breakfast is like sissy logs, so it's egg, rice, meat. And the meat can be sweetened, candied, or bacon, or sausage, something like that. It was good, but we did get tired of the meat sometimes after a while, but we were able to find
vegetarian
options,
or vegan options.
Or various options.
In multiple places that we traveled to.
In mainly touristy sort of spots.
Try some of the local dishes because they are delicious.
The cost of the meal, I'd say, ranges between $3 to $11
Canadian per person. Yes. Incredible pricing for food.
Yeah.
Was very, very affordable.
Like upper range plate for like something
would be
$11.
$11 Canadian.
So like, $20, $22 for both of us.
Yeah. So really, really great food prices. Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're not aiming for the fanciest things, but
like yeah, you
affordable.
You could definitely eat at higher end restaurants, but comparatively to the prices that we have here in Canada, I think it would still be a really great deal.
And that was our price range, 3 to 11, generally Canadian.
Another little highlight that Keith loved is there's local pastry shops everywhere that would have like little pastries for like literally 10 cents.
Totally forgot about that. Yeah, you can get donuts and like breads and like kind of Spanishy breads because it was Spanish before. It's got some cool Spanish quirks to it, the Philippines, like the accent and things like that. But the pastries were amazing. And they were good, and they're really affordable. Like we're talking 5 to 10 cents Canadian for a pastry sometimes.
So overall, those are our 10 things to know before you head to the Philippines. We loved our time there. The people were so kind, so helpful. The food was delicious. We enjoyed the sunshine, the beaches. Again, if you want to plan out your route ahead of time, we'd recommend that, and don't make it as big maybe as you at first thought you were going to. That would be our kind of takeaway.
Yeah, simplify it.
Simplify and just enjoy your time, and we hope this helped you. If you do have any questions, please feel free to comment them below. We'd be happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you soon. Thanks for watching.